Hi guys, the story I have brought for you today will give you an out of world experience so far as its ending is concerned. Secondly, even if you are a casual reader of good stories, you will definitely enjoy the retelling of this story. And if you happen to be a student of literature, the analysis of this story at the end will give you food for thought, new angles to look at the story because we are going to link it with a famous iconic movie, The Gaslight. Hector Hugh Munro, H.H. Munro, was a British author who wrote his stories with the pen name of Saki. And unfortunately, he was killed in action during World War One in France when a bullet fired by a German sniper hit him. There is an interesting story behind this story, Open Window. And as the story goes, they say that once he was attending this huge party and people started gathering around him and they said, well, Monroe, you've been writing such wonderful, great stories. We want you to spin a story right now. And lo and behold, Monroe started spinning a story and they say story is the present one, Open Window. Well, whether it is true or not, I would suggest you one thing. Never ever let facts interfere with a good story. And this one is really a good story. There are four major characters in this story. Fenton Nuttall, a young man. Vera, a 15-year-old girl. Mrs. Sampleton, who is aunt of Vera, and her husband. What happens is that there is this young man, Fenton Nuttall, who lives in London, and he is quite stressed up because of the pressures of London life. And he decides to spend time away from London in a countryside resort. And his sister says, well, it is a fine place, this resort, but I would suggest that you must meet some folks over there. I've been there to this place and I really found some people very interesting, very charming. And the place itself is not going to do you any good. It is the people who matter and you should meet these people. In fact, I will be giving you some recommendatory letters to these people and they will host you. So you should meet them. And Frank Nettle goes there, spends a night, and the very next day, late in the afternoon, he visits Mrs. Sampleton. And when he knocks the door, out comes a young girl, Vera, who is around 15 years of age. And he tells her the purpose of his visit. And she takes him inside. And when they are seated in a big room, he sees that there is this big French window and it is opened. And Vera says, Mr. Nuttall, have you met anybody in this place? Ever since we have come here. And do you know about my aunt, Mrs. Sampleton? And Fenton Nuttall says, well, I don't know anything about Mrs. Sampleton. In fact, I don't know anybody here. It is only yesterday that I came here. And Veera says that, there has been a great tragedy in our family. And it is related to this window in a way. And you must be wondering that it is month of October and it is a bit cold. And even then, this window is opened. And Fenton Nuttall says, well, this is not really cold, but I wonder why this window is opened. And she says that, you know, the tragedy I was talking about, it happened exactly 3 years ago, this very day. The husband of my aunt and her two brothers, with their brown colored spaniel dog, they went out through this very window for hunting, and they were caught in a walk in the jungle, and we could not recover even their dead bodies. And Frank Nuttall says, well, it is really a very big tragedy. And how is your aunt managing things? And she says, this is why it is such a big tragedy, because my aunt, she still believes that her husband and two brothers, they are going to come back one day and through this very window. I mean, anybody who listens to her, she repeats this very thing, that her husband and two brothers, they are going to come back one day. They will definitely come back. While they're talking about this thing, Mrs. Sampleton joins them. After pleasantries, she tells Fenton that her husband and two brothers, they will be soon coming back from hunting. And he is really surprised. And then she asks him how he has been and whether he has liked this resort. And Fred Nuttall says, yes, I am really liking this place. And he starts talking about his tension and shares that, in the city, he was quite stressed up, and that is the purpose of his visit to this place. While he is telling about his stress and tension, Mrs. Sampleton keeps looking out of the window. And after a while, she says, oh, look, they have come back. And Fenton Nuttall is really surprised. He looks out of the window and he sees three figures with rifles and a dog approaching towards the window. He's terrified and he looks at Vera. And Vera also has expression of great terror and surprise on her face as she looks out of the window. He looks again and he again finds three men with rifles and a dog approaching towards the window. He's so terrified that he just picks up his hat, goes out of the window, and he is going to hit these people, but somehow manages and gets around them, takes his bike, and just runs away. In the meanwhile, husband of Mrs. Sampleton comes in and he says, well, who was this young man? He just ran away when he saw us. And Mrs. Sampleton says, well, I don't know much about him. He came and he kept on going about his tension and stress while he was sitting with us. And so far as why he has run away, I guess maybe he is afraid of dogs. At this, Veera says, you're absolutely right, Auntie. Before you joined us, he was telling me that some years back he was in India, and as he was having a walk on the bank of Ganga, 5 or 6 dogs, they started chasing him. And he saw a big opened grave. And to save his life, he just jumped into that grave. And all night long, he remained there because the dogs kept barking. And as she said this, she smiled, thinking that she's so good in making up such stories and sharing with people. What a beautiful story. This story has always haunted me ever since I have read it, and especially its ending still fascinates me. I also find parallels of this story with the beautiful, iconic 1944 movie, The Gaslight. And if you want to understand and appreciate this story, you must watch The Gaslight. Because, like Mira, the husband in that movie also manipulates the mind of his wife through various ways. And I would also like to say that there is Veera in many of us. You would see that especially politicians like Veera try to distort realities, and they do it to, to achieve their own ends. And more often than not, these are nefarious ends. They distort realities to divide us. I hope you enjoyed this retelling of the story Open Window and our analysis. Please continue supporting this channel. Subscribe it if you like our retelling of stories, and like this video and share it with your friends. So long, and we will meet you soon with another story. Bye bye.